You mentioned you do things on islands.
Yes.
I wanted to follow up on that. So do you charge a whole bunch of money for that? What's the logistics like? The little boats? You get to charter a big boat? Like,
Yeah. So island jobs are actually really cool. Most people don't want to get into them because it's a logistical nightmare to most people.
right,
But we found, you know what, this is kind of a cool niche where we can really, really do a lot here because there's a lot of islands in our area or waterfront access only places. And what we did was we actually found a little bit of an older pontoon boat that we purchased. And what we do for our tents is we load the tents onto the boat while it's at the shop.
okay.
And then we just
What?
launch the boat and go.
Wait, so your shop is waterfront?
No, we put on a trailer.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So we trailer it to the shop and then we just take it to the boat launch.
Okay.
And
What if it's multiple trips that you have to get across?
yeah, so what we'll do then is if it's multiple trips, like if there's a tent and then there's 20 tables, 100 chairs, whatever, we would bring the secondary trailer to the boat launch and then go back and get the rest of the stuff. Or what has happened in the past is these owners of these cottages will they will rent a barge, and we will just come load our truck right up onto the barge with
Oh, that's
everything in it,
awesome.
and just over to the island we go.
Right. So what's the delivery kind of fee like that? How do you figure that out?
So what we did, we the first year we just charged by hour on how long it was going to take us to get to certain places. Um, and because the first year we did it, we didn't have a barge or a boat, so we just had to take their boat over and a barge over. I can actually tell you a couple of funny stories about boat rides over to islands, but basically charged by the hour for per staff member that was there. Nobody ever bat an eye. It usually equaled out to between $700 and $1,000 for an island job, just in extra costs because we have
Right.
to the loading, unloading, carrying, and time sitting
So
on the boat.
would you tell them that price up ahead, or would it be like at the end, like, oh man, it took 2 hours extra. This is the hourly rate for that.
So how we calculated it, the first way we did it was I would go with them to see the island because we like to do site visits.
Right.
It really helps. I hope most tent rental companies do that. So we'd take a boat ride over to see where the island is, and I would kind of gauge it by how long it took us to get there, and then it would give me an idea as how long the boat ride would be. Because when you take like a regular boat, you can get to an island if it's got a 110 horsepower motor or 200 horsepower motor or something. You can get there a lot faster than if you're on a barge, right? So you kind of just take the distance, and we kind of came up with a calculation of how long it would take us, and we got it pretty close. Just it's going to have some variable, but basically, for every 10 minutes on a boat was about half an hour on a barge.
Okay. So now, if you were on a barge that they paid for, obviously it's at some sort of place, it docks, you drive on, and it brings you to another road, and then you drive
Yeah,
to their house. But if you're in your own pontoon boat, you just pull up to their front.
yeah, we just pull
Oh,
up right up to their dock. Yeah.
oh, okay. Jesus, that's crazy. Do you bring the tent axe over on it too?
We did once, and that was the dumbest thing we've ever done. Because there's one place we're doing this coming summer that will be easy for us to bring the tractor to. But when you bring the tent ox across, you have to be able to drive it to where the tent's going to go. Because most islands aren't at like a foot above water level. They go straight up, right?
Right.
So we thought we could get up this path that we just couldn't.
Okay. So you had to
And ended up,
carry everything.
we ended up carrying everything up.
Wow.
So that's an additional cost, right? Because now we're carrying everything up on top of an island. That also factors into that extra cost.
Right. You ever lose anything over the side of the boat?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll give you a couple funny stories. So we were on last year. We were on Georgian Bay, which is one of the Great Lakes, kind of inlet of one of the Great Lakes. So it's a massive, massive lake, and we're in it's called the archipelago, which is just kind of like a sea of just islands all over the place. And then we go out to this island. It was a 40-minute boat ride with a boat that had two 220s on it. So it was a 2-hour barge ride.
Okay.
Now we had finished setup. Or sorry, we were on takedown at this point. We had finished all the setup, done the blah blah blah. Now we're taken down the next Monday or so, and we're on the way back. And it's probably 50 feet deep, the water. And I'm sitting there on the bar, just in the chair, and then all I hear is, and I look through my pockets, the keys to the truck.
Oh no.
Yeah, and we're 2-hour barge ride, and so I call up my dad actually, and I said, "Hey, can you bring the spare keys up?" And we're an hour or so away, or hour and a half away from the shop. So he actually ended up picking up my 2 daughters from school, and then drove up to where we were to the boat launch, and still had half an hour wait time.
Really? Wow. But you haven't lost any, like a tent top didn't roll off or anything, did it?
Not a tent top. We have lost a corner.
Oh, okay.
So this one client we have, which is they're very, very wealthy. They have 5 boathouses at their property. And we put up a tent there almost annually for a big fundraiser they do. Very, very nice family. They actually hire a diver every fall to go down and collect things they've dropped in the lake.
Okay.
Because they have so much stuff going on there, they drop stuff in all the time.
Wow.
So they actually went down and fished it out.
So was that on takedown that you lost it, or was that?
Yeah, we've never lost anything on setup, only on takedown.
I would be so bummed out. You lose a corner piece, and it's like, wow, my God, what do we do?
When we do our setups, because of the style of tent we use, we bring a couple extras of certain parts that don't float. Like I know if I drop a 15-foot pole in the water, it's going to float for at least a second, and I can grab it.
Right.
But those steel fittings in the corners, they're going right down.
Yeah. Wow, that's cool. That's cool. You got it back though.
Yeah.
Okay.
The keys I did not get back.
What's that?
The keys we did not get back.
No.
Yeah.